5 total contacts. 3 of them were private. Brothers and sisters, without being too vulgar, those 3 private contacts basically consisted of her gummy bearing my Shango. She gummy bared the Shango. That's basically what she did. It was a jump off. Hood rat jump off. That's all it was. Fellatio. 3 fellatio sessions. I came to visit. She wanted to please the Prince of Pan-Africanism. So it happened. 3 fellatio sessions. I'm not proud to say that. And then, of course, quote unquote caregiver. I put caregiver in quotes because she did anything but care for my mother. Anyway, this was the first week of March, Sweden. I come back from Sweden. I'm disappointed. Can't work with this woman no more. Can't take care of my mother. I can't mess with you. I started to distance myself from her. On June the 25th, the last moon that we had, I do my Art of Dialogue interview. I'm coming out of my Art of Dialogue interview and my phone is blowing up. There's a woman on Pastor Bussy's page claiming that y'all was in a 2.5-year relationship, that you were in love with her, that you wanted to marry her, that you wanted her to have your child. You were in a 2.5-year relationship with her. You were in love with her. You wanted to marry her. You wanted her to have your child. You were in a 2.5-year relationship with her.
All right, we don't need the thrice comment, but this is something that we've been talking about for a long time now. Let me be very, very clear. I've never looked at Umar Johnson past maybe 7, 8 years ago as anything other than a content creator. When he first came onto the scene, I thought he was articulate. I agreed with a lot of what he was saying, especially with regard to the way that our children are indoctrinated inside of schools and this liberal society that we live in. And I thought that he might have been onto something as an intellectual. Over the years, obviously with the school and all of that, it turned out to be a lot of a finessing, right? And like I predicted, the school is never, ever going to open. But that has nothing to do with this conversation. One of the things that I've always been bothered by is the fact that he would throw other men under the bus and also give these great expectations for how we're supposed to treat women. Yet, when you talk about his daughter, children out of wedlock, never marrying women, and now he's throwing them under the bus saying that they schlonged him or whatever that is, it's crazy. It's crazy that we're in 2025, as of the recording of this video, having a conversation where he's doing a live stream. First, earlier this year, he crashed out because his eldest daughter, which in this live stream itself, or in this video itself, he specifically was talking about he didn't know if his eldest had offed herself and all of this stuff. And saying that online is crazy. Like, there's just certain things, in my opinion, that you handle offline. But then we're now having a conversation about him responding to some other YouTuber who I don't know whatsoever, and it doesn't even matter what they are. And all of these women, so many different women, are coming out saying that, oh, I was in a relationship with him and all of this stuff. Now, I am understanding that women lie. I'm not in such disagreement with the way that Umar Johnson has thrown men under the bus in order to try to continue to build a female audience, that I can't call a spade a spade. Women lie, they lie all the time, and I call them out. I didn't necessarily care about Puff, but I knew, straight up that Cassie was the Bonnie to his Clyde, and, it was a finesse in order to get money, but she's not a good person. I see women accuse people, Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, right? We can go on and on with all of the accusations and stuff of women looking to get money out of men and, more importantly, get clout. Like, why are they going online in order to say that? And it's applicable here too. Why are people contact me a lot of times with information on people that I don't necessarily care for or that I've disagreed with as content creators. And I turn them down when they looking to come on my platform and try to expose people, because I don't necessarily care for clout chasers. I don't care for people that are looking to ruin other people online or looking to expose them, quote unquote. I don't care about none of that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I think that that's dumb. Unless we talking about like FBI or a political figure that's stealing money or something like that, that's a completely different conversation. When we talking about relationships, I don't care what you do in your spare time, but who you present yourself to be as far as using men and saying what they can and can't do, and they shouldn't be going with these type of people, and they should be marrying single mothers and all of this stuff. I think that that's worthy of a conversation. Conversation as far as the context or the content that you're putting out there, and for us to be able to react to and say that you should or you shouldn't. And him coming on here saying that she gummy beared him and all of this stuff is hilarious to me, because the presentation does not necessarily match up with what it is that you command from a respect perspective. I just think it's ignorant. I think it's dumb. You know, he tell people what they should do, but you can't get your own house in order. I think it's funny. But again, I have never pedestalized this guy to be anything other than a funny, and he's hilarious. I'm giving him that. A funny content creator. I'm not looking at him as a scholar. I'm not looking at him as a person that you would ever take advice from on relationships. I'm not looking for him to give any insight on political figures. He is hilarious, but it is hilarious to me how women would actually believe that they're going to enroll their single child, their single mother children into his school so that they can get educated by the Prince of Pan-Africanism.
Her. You wanted to marry her. You wanted, you was in love with her, and you wanted her to be your wife. Brothers and sisters, I have women who look way better than her, who have done more for me in my life than she ever could, who I wasn't in love with, who I didn't want to make my wife, who I didn't want to have my baby. So this woman, this Kansas City thought, this Jezebel, this jump off, this smash and grab.
But you messed with her. You messed with her. So many randoms. So many randoms.
Spent 3 times with me, not 3 nights, because I never spent the night. I never spent the night with her in my life. I never spent a night with her in my life.
This would be so much better for him if he just never responded. And it would give no credibility to the person whatsoever. We would automatically assume, yep, you would jump off or whatever, so on and so forth. But the fact that he feels compelled to come out and say this type of stuff is hilarious to me.
I saw her 3 times. And 3 times, all of which, if I'm not mistaken, were during the first quarter of 2025. 3 times, and I'm in love with her. 3 times I want to marry her. 3 times I want her to have my baby. 3 times, and we were in a 2.5-year relationship. Brothers and sisters. Brothers and sisters. Brothers and sisters. But it gets worse. She told Pastor Bussy. She told Pastor Bussy. And let me say this about Pastor Bussy. Rainbow Bunny. Pastor Bussy, the Rainbow Bunny, has been cyber stalking me for 10 years.
I don't even know who
people have asked me to put a stop to him legally. I had 2 attorneys who sent him cease and desist. And he did not cease and desist. Those attorneys did not live in Utah where he lives. Those attorneys did not live in Utah, so there was no follow-up. I recently consulted with a Utah attorney who told me I have a serious case against Pastor Bussy, the Rainbow Bunny. But I'm going to have to fly out to Utah a couple times to appear in court. So this attorney told me that if I give him the retainer, he will begin the investigation on Pastor Bussy. And after looking at Pastor Bussy's YouTube page, he says he is quite certain that I have a case for slander, I have a case for libel, I have a case for defamation, And he also said, because he's been making money off of my name for 10 years, that he can be made to pay me back all the money that he made in my name, and that we can lay siege to any property that he owns. I told him that the man is broke. He don't have any property. He basically pays his bills by making Dr. Umar defamation films. He said, well, if that's the case, if he has a job, then his wages can be garnished until he satisfies the balance of the settlement from court. So, brothers and sisters,
I don't care about any of this
I have
stuff.
finally realized that I have to have a Dr. Umar defense fund.
Oh, Jesus.
I have to have a Dr. Umar defense fund.
Jesus Christ.
And the reason I have to have a Dr.
This
Umar
is so
defense
dumb.
fund is not because I have to defend myself. I have to have a Dr. Umar defense fund
This is begging from the people.
so I can file suit against people who think it's okay to constantly slander my name and attack my mother. Attack my mother. Attack my mother.
Mothers and family members and stuff is always off limits, but I don't know anything about that. But the defense fund, that's crazy.
So, brothers and sisters, this woman told Pastor Bussy, the Rainbow Bunny, the YouTubian struggle streamer, she told Pastor Bussy that I went down on her. Brothers and sisters, I'm willing to take a lie detector test. Brothers and sisters, I'm willing to take a lie detector test. Brothers and sisters, I'm willing to take a lie detector test. When that woman, after gummy bearing my Shango stick, that woman took off her underwear, and I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, and I don't mean no disrespect to feminine energy. I don't mean no disrespect to feminine energy. I don't mean no disrespect to feminine energy. When she took her underwear off, brothers and sisters, she smelled like something crawled up inside of her and died. She smelled like an old fish tank. You ever smell a fish tank that somebody ain't cleaned in like 2 years? They got goldfish in there. They got all kind of fish. And it ain't been cleaned in years. That's what she smelled like.
This is all messy. But let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. T. Genly, 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life. I love you. I appreciate you.